Oh my gosh. It took me 1,000,000 years. But the gag is I'm here. Oh, that was literally the most I've ever endured. That was literally the most frustrating thing I've ever endured in my lifetime. You guys, I'm pissed. Oh, sheesh. How y'all doing this morning? My morning was going great till I wasn't able to get into my damn Facebook page. But I really want to know, like, if y'all feel the same way that I feel. Like, I had my first long-term relationship when I was from the time I was 15 to when I was 20. Broke up with him when I was 21. And from that point on, I did a little bit of dating here and there. And I had another boyfriend, but it didn't really last very long. And ultimately, I realized that I keep dating people that only are going to hurt me because I don't really know how to love myself. I realized that because I didn't know myself and love myself enough, I kept finding myself beginning relationships with people based off of shit that only could take us downhill. And I'm like, why do I keep doing that? And so I took much time to talk and to myself and, you know, really figuring out what it is that I actually wanted. And now that I'm a little bit back in the dating scene, my opinions are different. Like, I'm definitely not looking for no boyfriend or anything like that, but just in the midst of getting to know people, it's very nerve-wracking. Like, I think people often think that only guys don't want commitments or only guys are afraid of being vulnerable. No, speaking as a female, it is very scary for me to be vulnerable for more reasons than just one. So it's just like, I don't know. It ain't the easiest thing in the world to open up to somebody. And I find, like, the nicer that a guy is to me, at times I end up becoming more and more afraid, because it's just like, what do you want from me? Like, I immediately go to this defensive place, but that's not their issue. That's my issue. So that is the beautiful thing about getting out there and dating and getting to know people, is that you start to realize that, oh, okay, wait a minute, you know, relationships can actually teach me a lot about myself. I can actually learn about myself. What the hell? I made an unconscious vow as a child to always follow the voice of my heart wherever it led me. And my heart as a baby girl led me to my first real passion, music. I began singing in the church. My mother was a choir director before my father even thought about becoming ordained. Every Wednesday, there was a choir rehearsal, and I'd always beg my mother to let me sing a solo. I was so hurt every time she would tell me no. I felt like she wouldn't give me a chance. She'd always tell me I was too young, and I never could understand what age had to do with singing. #moms. The reality was, she probably just thought I was playing. But even though I was a lighthearted child, I took myself and my work very seriously. #Virgo. My mother was just thinking I was a kid who was not being serious, so she wanted me to sit down. She thought I was just talking. She didn't understand I really had a desire to sing and touch people until I showed her how persistent I was. You see, I idolized my mother's singing, and I saw how she affected people with her voice. I wanted to do that too. I wanted a chance at that. I remember the first time I got her to agree to let me sing a solo, and my song of choice was Jesus Loves Me. Not too long after that, I was the lead soloist singing in my kindergarten play. My mom was so scared because we rehearsed all week for my solo, but when I walked to the front of the stage to start my solo, they didn't lower the mic from the class before. My mom thought I was doomed, but I wasn't afraid because I had watched my mom pull a mic out of its stand my whole life. Ha ha ha. I whipped out that mic and went to town, y'all. It was truly a special feeling to be able to touch people with my voice, and even more amazing to know that it was specific to me. I claimed music abilities as a part of my identity. When my parents first approached me about acting, the connection was music. There was a newspaper article about casting for the Lion King production at the Chicago Theater in January 2002. The article said they were looking for little black girls of all ages, fitting this height and this weight to play Nala. They needed a singer, and my parents thought of me. I went and didn't make it. That's how the story goes. But it didn't take long for me to realize that I liked what I saw in that audition room. Hold on. I saw that acting was another way to move people. Through playing out different scenarios and showcasing emotions as an actress, I could affect other people's perspectives and feelings, just as I saw my mother do with her singing. Movies, plays, and television shows offer people a different perspective than the reality they live in, and even sometimes hope. In my first acting roles, I came to understand that and thought, cool, praise hands. Though I was always interested in acting, my family felt singing was my strong suit. Just a few months after my Lion King audition, my mother found out about auditions for a show called American Juniors. It was a new show on Fox that was a children's version of American Idol. Make a long story short, your girl got a golden ticket. I was just 9 years old. My family and I moved to California, and it was a whole new world out there. They put me in dance classes and singing classes, and my mom said watching me handle that process convinced her to really take this seriously, because I sure was. My mom always taught me to be unafraid to ask questions. I believe that's also a great lesson that she taught me. Closed minds don't get fed. She tried to raise me to listen more than I spoke, to listen and never be afraid to ask questions, to always remain humble and willing to learn, and that is just what she did. She got every phone number she could at that competition. She learned anything she could to help me with my future in the industry, and she knew that no matter what happened with this competition, she would come up with ideas and a plan of where to go to next. Right now, #my mom is so epic. Anyhow, we got back from the trip to California, and I ultimately didn't get the call to be on the full season of the show. I was sad, but mostly itching to do more. I knew there had to be opportunities. I just wasn't sure if my mom knew how to help me.